Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show this Wednesday with the Trade the Pool live stream. I am flying a little bit solo today. If you have a yearning for some volatility because of earnings, then today is absolutely your day. We have so much going on that we're not going to be able to put it in for sure, but we'll try straight after this. Hey Mohammed, how you doing? Nolly, got your tickets in there early doors as usual. Good to see you. So who stayed up for that? Well, you didn't have to stay up for the Tesla call. Anybody? I was listening to that live. It's funny how with all Zoom and everything, they still stick to that being an audio only, isn't it? On the earnings, that's crazy. But yeah, I think a lot of people were looking to short that one, and no one thought that was going to have the kind of impact it did. It was like literally from 144 up to 164 in that post-market session on that call, and that was pretty much, if I was listening to it, pretty much because they put all the earnings out and everything, and that was kind of digested, pretty much priced in, not a lot going on. And then they got Elon Musk on the call, and they was initially talking about competition in that space of the EV market, and could Tesla keep up? And pretty much Elon Musk just said, listen, silly, we're an AI company. We don't just do cars. And then went on to spill the beans about kind of the robo car and Optimus's robot, all that sort of stuff, and how they're going to kind of smash your Uber out of the park with their automated taxi service, automated Teslas, where you just don't even, no driver, you just get the app, order the car, it picks you up, and away you go. And the stock price never come back from that, so it just took a run up there from 144 to 160. So we'll see what that does on the open. Just looking at my normal stuff, I've got a liquidity pool up there at 168 to 172. So we'd have to close above that 173 area if we're going to push higher today on Tesla. If not, just from the post-market yesterday, just from that, literally that 144 area up to the post-market high, that's going to be quite deep, back to about 150 down there. So we'll see what happens today on Tesla. We'll have a look. Well, actually, no, we won't. We'll do it now because we have got some. We do have some earnings plays to go over that have already been released this morning. But the minute, let's just see. Laurie, you got a test in there? Hey, how you doing on LinkedIn? Welcome. Mohammed's on there. Let's have a look at what Nolly's looking at. He's looking at TXM BA. Yep, obviously earnings there. ARM, INTC, UAL, ENPH, and Tester. You got a lot on your plate there this morning. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at BA. Did BA go out this morning? I'm just trying to think. What have we got here? Thermo Fisher, Roche, IBM's this evening, AT&T's this evening. Boeing was today. Boeing has already gone out. What have we got on Boeing? So earnings was a surprise by 30%, and I think this is the key. It doesn't really, when you come down to the estimated earnings and the estimated revenue, what matters really these days is how much of a surprise it is. A 30% surprise is very, very good. That's what gets the price pumping. So that's the sort of number you're looking at. If we're just a surprise by 3%, yeah, it'll probably still have some effect, but a surprise of 30% is probably going to send you up by a few dollars. So that's what's happened with BA. So looking at BA there from the kind of release this morning from 171 up to 176. And sell side liquidity pool sitting just here. That's the most recent one from the high to the low. And the buy side liquidity pool is sitting down here at 172.30. So I'm not doing anything different in terms of the way I trade. It's just that they look like small caps on earnings days, given the volatility that we have had. Hey Mohammed, how you doing? We've got else here. All right, Chipotle is this evening. So CMG is this evening. Actually, we can look at the this evening ones a little bit later. But yeah, Chipotle's got a nice big sellers block up here at 2,950. What a stock price that is. So yeah, if you can afford that one, it's got more legs on it. Up to that area. Now, let's have a look. Futures Day Trader Billionaire, good morning to you. How are you doing? All right, just anything else? Let's just filter this by. I'm just going to switch over, just looking over at my other screen here to try and filter by what went out this morning. There we go. So Roche Holdings, AT&T, Boeing, Boston Scientific, General Dynamics, CME Group itself, Iberdrola, Atlas, Heineken. Yeah, there's loads that have gone out this morning. I could keep on. Orange, Fortive, Reckitt, Canon. There's plenty to look at this morning. The biggest cap there is TMO, Thermo Fisher Scientific. Moving over to the hot stocks on the small cap front, we got a few. Sisu yesterday, Kazoo. It was a bit hard to get one. It did fade. It was about, let's put this on EST. So yeah, it was like a pump until it got to just after lunch, about 2 o'clock. And then it come off a bit, not too much. And then it kind of grabbed it back just before the close. So not an easy play on CZ00 yesterday. Similarly, OPRT was on our watch list yesterday. And Great Scott, is that still you're locked out from the actual trading platform or the hub? OPRT was benchmark play and the bogey level was double topped at 350. The benchmark 2 was up there at 380, but it double topped into, so we just peaked above this. And that's what you got to watch out for on these plays. That's why I normally target this first kind of buy side liquidity pool, because you come down and hit that, it's already 10:30, and that's why it's kind of key to what happens after 10:30. It's not an easy couple of hours to be in there, and then when you get after lunch, it squeezes a little bit, and then you was right first time, but you had to wear through this for pretty much the best part of the day. So now today, again, buy side liquidity pool into the overnight and into the pre-market. If it's going to go any higher up to that benchmark 2, it's got to break, let's say break 350. It's there or thereabouts, but 345 and a close above could see the momentum come through to 380 on that. Yeah, I don't know what that is, Great Scott. I've had no problem myself logging in this morning, but yeah, I can only suggest what Gil said there and see if. But as Gil, that is a second day for that for Great Scott. It's not that's not just raised today. That's a problem he's had since yesterday as well. So it'd be good if we can get somebody on that pretty quick. Okay, so that was OPRT. Today, ZPTA already been at this benchmark, so it is on everybody's scanners, but just kind of be aware it's hit its benchmark. There is benchmark 2 up here. We'll drag across now at 280, but now it has to get through its sell side benchmark this morning. So we have that over here at $2. Between $2 and $2.12 is its sell side. So for the minute, that's a good target if we're getting long. We haven't quite the switch on, the liquidity switch on, tapped into 165, that buy side pull, that still resides. And then you've got, yeah, not quite down there, but if we did push down there and roll out, that is going to be $2 is going to be a good target initially. If you break above it, then you could have some more room to the upside on ZPTA. What's the other one? Hook. Oh, BOF's running as well. We'll look at BOF. Hook. Similar thing. Went to benchmark 2 in pre-market. Will still be on everybody's watch list, so they'll still be looking to long it. This one has tapped into its buy-side liquidity pool. So if it starts to grind out of this level and push up, it could go for another look at the top there. We'd be putting that in here now. Let's go with this one. So around about 94 cents there on Hook to watch out for. That could be a buy target or an area to look to short. Whoops. Or an area to look to short on Hook. WIMI is the next one on the list. So have I done any analysis on this? Have we done this before? This rings a bell, WIMI. One sec. Yeah. Okay, all right. So WIMI was a runner back in February. It run to the first benchmark. The second benchmark in March. It almost got there. You know, I could be wrong on drawing this. I could be a few cents off. It was up there at $2. It got to 189. So really, this looks backside at the minute, right? It still looks backside. Yes, we've had a pop, but really I'm looking to short sell side liquidity as opposed to drawing new benchmarks in and seeing where they come. But if I did draw new benchmarks in, it would be somewhere around, see if they line up. Yeah, the benchmark is sitting here between 130 and 140, which is the previous benchmark. And benchmark 2, very similar area. Again, almost a double top to where it was before. So pretty much leave it all in because they still are all aligned with the new data we've got at these lows. Okay, WIMI. And the other one, what's the top one? Is it AMST still? Or ZPTA? Did I miss that? No, I did do. So AMST is running up still this morning. Bogey level, which is the level midpoint between benchmark 1 and benchmark 2, is not far away here. Let's have a look what we've got. Okay, so this is the pre-market benchmark. This is the longer term benchmark 1 and 2. So at the minute, the pre-market benchmark is kind of holding us. And on a micro level, each of those is probably a sell side liquidity pool, but there'll be, yeah, so they're holding 340 at the moment. Sellers hold 340 at the moment. A break and close above 340 then is going to be, we should see more momentum coming for a look up to 395. Okay, so that's pretty much everything I have on the watch at the moment. So you can throw your tickers in there if you've got anything that you want me to look at. I'm very well future day trader, very well indeed. So yeah, we'll have a look at what's running. If I was to bring the stock race down at the moment, we have AMST, VIVK. So these are some stocks that are running. But when I look at some of these, they're very sketchy on the volume, even if they are running. So so the best picks I've kind of already analysed this morning. But I will have a look at BOF because that seems to be in my ear at the moment. So, okay, so it keeps pushing. What have we got on this long term? All right, so longer term. Okay, so we do have a benchmark up here, big wide one, 246, a 40 cents benchmark, 240 to 280 roughly. And if we squeeze that all in, we're going to be looking at the same area. Benchmark 2 is up there at 375-ish. Okay, so if we're going to play into this, we're going to look down into what's happening at the moment. So it's made a push higher. It's holding above 50% of the whole move, which is kind of bullish at the moment. So buy side liquidity. So that's where it will probably rest if it does fade for the day after it's high. If it does punch higher than where it is now, that will move up. So we can draw that in a little bit later. And then if it's going to push up any further, it's got to break 230. A break and close above 230 to either push further into benchmark 1, and we'll check if we see rejection here. Otherwise, it could go to 383, and we'll put the bogey level in the middle there, because sometimes it can pull back and then go again. Actually, it can just hold there as well. So that's BOF. That's what we're looking for on BOF. Tiny T, good morning. What's the benchmark, Scotty? Not term familiar with. Yeah, no, it's not. So that comes from the where I've been working in the banks for over 20 years, where program trades are benchmarks. So program trades are kind of generally a basket of trades. They can be big cap or small cap, and it will there's a set number of participants that are in that program trade, and they're kind of guaranteed a price. So price will push up and then come back to a buy side pull. The next participant will come in, price will push up, come back to a buy side pull, the next participant will come in, until all those orders are filled and the program is done, and that is when price gets to a benchmark. So it's not the perfect term of like the S&P being the benchmark index for a stock that sits within it kind of thing. So yeah, it's a price is benchmarked for a program trade up there. So what it normally means is it's the end of the trend. On small caps, that can happen in a day. It takes a bit longer on the large caps, but yeah, it can kind of signal the start and the end of the trend. So if you're looking, let's have a look at this particular one. All right, so those prints here. So no matter what happens here, we could take this area out as being a good trend. But normally you would literally have a channel going up here or some trend lines or whatever. But small caps just love to pump and dump, so they do the benchmark pretty quickly. But a supernova is a textbook program trade, so long as it keeps pulling back throughout that day or day 2 or 3 that it runs for. So that's a benchmark for you. Yeah, completely different to the liquidity pool. It's more the end of a trend, whereas a liquidity pool is what keeps that trend going. Any trades on Tesla today? Let's see. You've got a big problem. Every day I take over 100 trades and end up losing 100 trades. Every day after hours I go back, and if I were to take less than 20 trades, I've been making over 3,500 to 7,000 easy. Okay, so well, this is where we do need Deanna, isn't it? It's that's I don't know. Is that on the same stock? Is that on the same stock? Or is that like you've got so many, you're looking at so many stocks that you're taking them all? Give us a bit more info on that, future day trader. Any advice to stop taking so many trades? I took two off from my job over 7 months ago. Since then, I've been taking the evaluation so many times, and you still can't pass again. Yeah, so always the same. Is it always Tesla, always Mara, and always the TQQs? So you're just in and out all the time on those three generally? Yeah, it's just in a journal. So yeah, that's a good idea. But I think you don't need a journal to know that that is kind of over trading, isn't it? Like just straight off, that's too many trades to be taken in a day. Your commissions are going to eat you up if nothing else does. Let's have a look at Tesla and see if we can't. See if we can't, I don't know, perhaps give some examples. So if I go back to try and take a look at Tesla, we'll look at what's going on today in Tesla in a sec. But just to give you an example, assuming I'm not playing off the open and I'm kind of waiting for price to play out, there's kind of 1 or 2 trades, maybe top 3 in a session. And even this one I don't really like because this is the time of day. So the first thing I would do is stay out of the market from 10:30 till 2 p.m. EST. Just don't bother, because that time for stocks is just algo time, and it's really not worth it. And when I say algo time, I mean they take a range and they just push it up out of it. It's like a calculated algorithmic thing, and it just goes to the top. It will, it stops everybody out. Yes, it's not a stop hunt as far as I'm concerned. It is extra liquidity sitting up at that level that you're not aware of. So liquidity 1 is the top, middle and bottom, and it comes into the first one, taps into the first one again, then it goes for the middle one, and you just don't know the middle one's there, so you will all get stopped out on your shorts, and that's it. But like on Tesla, there's 2 good trades at a decent time, perhaps 1 more if you're going straight off the open, but sometimes you're going to get faked on that, so that's kind of, sometimes it's best to wait. But yeah, really no more than really 2 trades on any particular stock, I would say. Do you think it's better to go long or shorts on small caps? Is it better to pick a side or try and do both? So it's kind of your niche, really. So obviously when you're shorting, stock has huge upside, but it's unlimited losses when you're shorting, right? Because the stock can just go to the moon. So on the stream, we kind of, or I look at trying to short day 1 stocks because they're active, and you know that it gives us something to do, and probably a bit more than 50% of the time they work out while we're on the show. By the end of the day, a lot of them nearly always work out, but it's whether or not you get squeezed, like I said, in the interim. So for me, if you want to short stocks, do not try and short them when they're on the scanner on day 1, right? So the stocks I'm calling out today, so AMST, actually this has been before, but if this was a day 1 stock, this is the first time it had its catalyst or its news, I wouldn't be able to short it. Even if it was coming in to buy benchmarks, I wouldn't short it. And that's what these moving averages are for. So if we look at something that has been and kind of done. Right, so this is AGBA was a good example of a stock that on day 1, you would have been pretty lucky with this benchmark, as we was, right? So we had this benchmark on day 1, and it come down to the target of the buy side liquidity pool. So that's handy, but we wouldn't have, a lot of small caps, that's done straight away. Whereas it run again the next day on pre-market, and then it run more than anybody expected again the day after that. So it's kind of, if you use the VWAP, or you can use a higher time frame, so go to like the 10-minute and use these moving averages here, which is a 55 and 89. And when you then close under, so this is a bit of a fake out, right? But here's the VWAP. You've got to wait for it to close under. So the higher time frame you get, the safer it is. So this is really only just kind of becoming backside at the moment, right? And if we look today on the smaller time frame and put the VWAP on, yeah, we are under that VWAP, right? So it's looking a little bit more backside at the moment. So I'd stop trying to short day one stocks and try and look at them at day 2 or day 3 when they've shown they've kind of given up and closed under the moving averages. Long, you can do long on day 1, but I would look for stocks that have a float, the share float of kind of under 5 million. If it's a low flow stock, there's higher probability of it running, but don't expect that run to last very long. So that's if you're liking small caps, go long in the first instance, don't short on day 1. And then when they eventually are under that VWAP on day 2, then try and short a pop. Yeah, so it still will pop back up, but it's not a long. That's when you want to short on day 2. Hello, Wilson. How you doing? Good morning, FJF as well. Nolly is suggesting an accountability buddy. You have to think of a good punishment if you break your rules. Yep, agree with that totally. That's a very good idea. Yeah, or I've found streaming's pretty good as well. Yeah, it stops you taking crappy trades when everybody's looking at you. Actually, it does stop me taking crappy trades when everyone's looking at me, but there you go. Right, quick look at Tesla before the open, which is in 3 minutes. Okay, so Tesla, we have, I mean, there's definitely a trade on. If I just zoom out a little bit on Tesla, this is what I'm seeing. Sell side liquidity up at 168.50 and 172. There's a buy side, and this is from the lows of the just before the news announcement. Okay. And here's one for you as well. Put an anchored VWAP on the earnings or a news announcement. So you can look out for that as well. We can pop down to 155 if we don't shoot off straight from the open. But yeah, a VWAP from the event is a good thing to keep on your chart for about 3 to 4 days max, really. Boogie Woogie, how you doing? Good to see you. Nolly's got Dell, EMPH, Netflix, B8, and UAEL, plus a few more. So Nolly's all over the place. He's got everything on his watch this morning. So he's going to be a busy person today. Okay, so we've got 2 minutes. So Tesla, I'm going to keep an eye on out of the gate. I'm interested to see if how the public are reacting to that, as well as how they position. It's literally stayed at the highs of the games. This didn't come back down to 150 in the pre-market. So let's see where best execution is probably sitting on this at the moment. So the best execution level is going to be just below that sell side liquidity and where that VWAP is on the news event. So the best execution, I mean, if institutional orders do have Tesla to sell today, they'd want to do it higher than the average of the pre-market. So they'd do it up at 166.75 or down there at 154.93. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We have, this is my trade pool. Here we go. So we've got 30 seconds before the open. Trader Life, good to see you. How you doing? Happy trading to you as well. Oku, just AMST for you. AMST. Did I look at that earlier on AMST? I did, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, AMST looking benchmark up there at around $4, 390 to 4. So keep an eye on that. Close above it. Could go a bit more supernova. Okay, we're good. We are off and running. There we go. So NQ's running up high. Tesla, let's see what we've got. Tesla. Okay. Let's Get this down to a minute, see what the action is. Hey DJ, how you doing? Okay, so little push up. Let's see where that first swing is that we're coming from at the moment. See if we're going to break out of that. Okay, yeah, so that should see some more to the upside up to 166. See where we go. See what we can get out of Tesla today. Just taking a little long position there. So the low to the current high, if we're going to come back and get some liquidity to the buy side, is sitting at 161.95 on Tesla. 161.95. So let's see if it comes back down to that. If it goes below that, then obviously it could be going to that buy side. So those that do want a better price, look, see where that the news VWAP is from the earnings call is sitting down here at 156.18. Let's see what we get though. So those of you that are on that AMST ticker, AMSP, yeah, just coming off of the benchmark here, AMST. So that is an aggressive play off that benchmark, because like I said, it's day one. I would like to see it hold the sell side liquidity in the first instance. So that currently sits at 380 to 385. So if it taps into there and rejects, then that would be a better short than just jumping on that red candle. But sometimes you just don't get it. But that is looking shortish for a benchmark play. All right, so there's 350. Let's see how we get on there. The benchmark for that, meaning the buy side liquidity for that, and your first target is at 337. So if you short AMST, and it smashes through this buy side liquidity, then happy days. I always take some off of this buy side liquidity pool, because this is the one that can work out. You can see these moving averages sitting in here. Where's the VWAP on it? Yeah, the VWAP smack in there as well. So if this price comes down here and then starts to play this color changing game from red to green, watch out. It's either coming back for 380 or it can go supernova if it closes above 410. So we just want to keep an eye on that. What is the catalyst on this? They've released an app. It's not a fantastic catalyst, but they've released an app. So that is the catalyst. Not great money, Mitch. Discipline is key. Play your play, not just everything under the sun. Yes, indeed. Play your play, not everything that comes up on that one. Get after the process as well. Money Mitch on there today. How you doing, Money Mitch? Okay, so let's have a look. AMST is just pausing there. Didn't quite dip into that 343 on the buy side liquidity pool. So keep an eye on that. Like I said, it's day one. So Tesla coming back down for the for this. Well, either the potentially on the VWAP or on this best execution price at 155. That was a wide range off the pre-market action there. So it was a decent push. The actual buy side liquidity pool sits at 149.90, about 150 there. So let's see what that does. Yeah, it's an app for nurses. Yeah, yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of that one, but let's see how those levels play out. Okay, WMIMI was also on the scanner earlier. Didn't cut levels for that. Okay, I did, but this has already been a play. So this was, yeah, so there's a sell side liquidity up here at 140 to 160. It's been up to the benchmark before. So yeah, I'm not expecting anything great. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, so we're still residing up there. It's pretty much similar. Watch out for 110, 120 on WIMI if you feel long. What other plays we got? Let's have a look at BA, see how that's doing on the release here. The AMST, they're pushing their new highs to 420, up to 420 right now. So BA on the first target. BA on the first target from its swing out. Look at this nice accumulation sitting at the bottom here. So the move out of that area there at 173.96, hitting its first profit target at 177.51. Next stop 181.40. Benchmarks up there at kind of 188, but sell side liquidity 184.35 on BA. So let's see what we get out of that. Okay. One, I said, there's a ticker that I've been looking at for a while, which was Bond. I've been waiting. I drew this out some time ago. This is one that's a reverse stock split for 1 to 10 reverse stock split. And if these after the reverse stock split, if they can hold their lows, and in this case the buy side liquidity pools, then if we can break up above this accumulation zone, which is what is happening, so we are in the accumulation, don't like normally trading down here unless we come right into that buy side liquidity, which I've gone long on this already, trying to anticipate that it will break out. Now it was on the scanner very early, but it was just literally a flash, so I bought some as I saw it flash, but it hasn't been seeing money flow this morning, so we'll see. I might have to wait a day or two to see if this breaks out. If it comes back down under 340, then I kind of lose interest, especially if it's under 3. But that's kind of a longer term play that I look out for, trying to buy up those lows as they appear. Quick look back at AMST. So AMST, they're straight into and over at the moment this benchmark. So let's keep an eye on this one. If not, I have to go back and draw the no, that is the daily. So that is the daily. So let's see how far this pushes up above the benchmark. If I can get some nice rejection anywhere around this area, perhaps up at the $half mark, and then close down at 4s, that would be nice. Okay. What was the other one? Was going to Hook gone quiet? Did Hook make it up there? Scott, yeah. Kazoo halted up. Is that so? That, yeah, that didn't come off enough to suggest that that was going to fade at all, did it? It's Hook's at his buy side liquidity pool, so just watch to see if it can curl up out of it. It could get to 94. If not, just stand aside on it. Kazoo. So this was the benchmark back from our first run from the lows back here, which it hit and then come off yesterday. So it's going for it again. Let's see if it can make the VWAP from the big drop. So that was anchored from the big drop above. Let's go back and have a look where that was. Yeah, to see those highs from the time when it ran there on the 28th of March. So that's just been anchored in to see if that's going to have any value for the next time it tries to pop. Other than that, see this sell side liquidity that held on the push from the highs at $20 to $8 comes back for it there. So do a similar thing now. Take it from the highs to the lows of that swing. And if it's got legs on that, it's 12 to 15. 12 to 15. If we're doing the kind of channel work on this, that's also going to be coming in at a similar kind of area. That's kind of aligned with that VWAP. So that's what we get if we punch up above there into 1090s. All right, let's have a look at what the Nasdaq's doing overall. So Nasdaq or Qs, if you're on the ETF, we are looking. So we had news earlier and it kind of popped above and then back below a sell side liquidity pool and has taken it out again now. So that was done as of that point. I've got 18060. So there's a huge gap intraday. It doesn't look that big on a bigger time frame. It's from the drop from here to the lows. So if it can work its way back up, there's a nice gap there. Obviously, there's a previous level 179.43 over here, but I'd be looking for 8056 on it. It doesn't mean it can get there all in one burst, but it does have the ATR to go. So let's see if we can get there in these increments. Not one to be chased on the NQ, given its volatility. AMST. Okay, so there's the close. Now, obviously, that got smashed through on the open. Now we're looking to see, so it didn't tack into that buy side liquidity pool, which can indicate it doesn't need it, so it goes for the run. The break of the sell side brings that momentum in. Now we've got the most recent buy side sitting here. Sitting at 373 to 357. So let's see if that holds. So if this, so that's the play I'm doing now. I'm just waiting to see if we can get anything on this. We was talking about FOMO yesterday. And I've taken a tiny position on this short. And if this level now at 1410, 1420 can hold, so we've tapped into that buy side pool now. So let's see if it is going to come back and give us textbook. But if we blow through this 423 and close above now, then that can see a lot more price action, or at least, you know, another push up to a kind of $0.50 or a round number at this stage. Being at benchmark, for me, it can do the whole move again. If it breaks benchmark 2 and clearly closes above, kind of can indicate a supernova for me on a small cap, but it would pretty much be double the benchmark, just putting a block on top, measuring it above and saying, right, if it did break, that same formula is going to play out potentially again. So if it did break and close above, that's all I'd be doing, was dragging that up there. Same formula applied twice, so about $6. But let's see where we get to. So trying to get a nice little push up here to 410. So when these work out really nicely, they literally just tag it and then drop. So let's see if we get that. Let's see if we get it. Anything else? Any other trades on? Remember, we do you choose, we trade in the new format, which is we trade what you choose. It's one of your trades. So whatever you think you've got on, give us the ticker, the direction, and whether you're thinking long or short. And we can choose one of those and we'll put that trade on with you. Great Scott, didn't you say you don't short day ones? Yeah, my preference is not to short day ones, but there is a lot of people that do short day ones. I think shorting day ones is the hardest thing to do. I'd much rather let them see if they what I'm looking for is for their backside, right? This at the moment is completely front side, but the benchmark for me, if it holds in that first instance, can play for a move, quick move down to the buy side liquidity pool. So it's kind of, if I'm just anticipating the benchmark and that it's going to hold, then I can wear that high, but I'm still targeting 375 as my first level to take off. So it's like 25-cent move, but I'm actually wearing that as a lot. Right, here we go. Let's see if this holds. If we close above now 223, we're going to get momentum in, and listening out for that on the tape to see if we're going to close, if we're going to run above it. Okay, nothing on the tape yet. Give it a sec. Okay, still nothing. Okay, so let's see if that holds us a real push into that level. I'm giving it a second here. Let's drop down to the 1 minute, see if we can't get a red close on this. Okay, remember, I would expect to hear it coming in if we flush above 24, 25, 30, this kind of area. It's very quiet. Yeah, I'd still expect to hear. Okay, so still nothing. Only MULN being called out at the moment. I'll have a quick look. So again, not the point to jump in right now, because if this does close above, you can see a quick flush up. If you can use the term flush and up in the same sentence. I mean, I've been long and short in this morning. It got you both ways. Yeah, it's not, they're not easy to play when they're doing this kind of thing. So yeah, going back to it, I don't generally look to short unless it gives me my textbook. Right, this is my textbook. It's a benchmark 2 play, not a benchmark 1, but it broke its one yesterday. There's the confirm. So now what you've got to look out for. So this is why it's tough to play a day one short, because we're now following a new buy side pull up. So they don't stay static. Okay. Is that, yeah, that is my textbook confirmation. I'm at the pre-market. So we've cut it from yesterday. It broke yesterday's pre-market. Today it's toying with it. But if it hits up, holds the benchmark, closes under, then pulls back to this sell side, then I'm like, well, that is what I look for at any top, no matter what product I'm trading. If I'm trading the NQ, if I'm trading a stock, a big cap, Tesla, whatever it is, that's kind of what I look for. Put the high in. If that's going to be the high, you normally either just rush away from it very, very quickly and it's a V top, or you attempt it again and fail at the sell side. But the trouble is now, for my first target, I've only got kind of 30 cents, which is fine. It's not too bad, but you know, it's a very tight play. So you're almost kind of praying that today would be an all-day fade. But whereas my recommendation, obviously I'm taking trade attainment trades here as well, you know. I'm trying to at least have something on that I would normally be analyzing myself. Obviously there's 1,000 stocks that you could trade, but only a few of them are in play. So this is AMST. So if it gets up here again, I want out. All right. So I'll add an alert to see if it gets up, there. but I didn't see that. I didn't hear that money flow come in as well, which was kind of like, well, okay, that's good. I don't want to hear it come in if I'm in a sell side liquidity pool, because if it does come in, it's probably going to push and rush to the top. Okay. Oh, great, Scott. You're long AMST. Okay, mate. Where from? Where from? Earlier on in the day? I have almost no success shorting day one. It's very hard for me, but I know some guys are very good at it. Yeah, it's just, again, it's not something I'd recommend. I think if you was to search for some of the seriously good shorters, Alex Timiz comes to mind. He it's totally off day one shorts completely. Just looks for what he calls like a low hanging fruit, which would be show me that you're backside clearly, and then look for shorting those pops. And those pops for me would be a sell side liquidity pool. We're looking to have a look and see if we've got anything. Oh, darn, I was looking to add to Tesla. 1 second. Missed it. Okay, not to worry. So buy side didn't hold completely. Looks like we didn't even go for the wider. Didn't go for the wider play either. We went for. Okay, so they could still be in play. It went for the shorter area than I anticipated off the pre-market action here. But let's have a look. So just having let Tesla play out, right? If you've not done anything for that first kind of, 20 minutes? This is the same as what I was showing earlier when we were saying to not kind of overtrade, which is, so for me, the trade now is either to, if this holds and comes back, I'm not really interested in my long, because then it's, I could say I could hold and hope it's going to go long, but it doesn't mean it's still a day trade for me. So it's not something I really want to do. But if we hold here, we can then pull back to buy side pull. You could even go for best execution down here. Either of those could happen right now. So it's just literally a case of waiting to see if this breaks, then the long is still okay. If we come back to here and fail, then definitely not. But I wouldn't let it close. So I want the momentum play to continue here. I was talking about yesterday where it pushes up, continues. We stay on these moving averages, and within no more than 5 bars, we kind of get that green bar, red bar push down, turns green, and then continues on momentum. 377 was your entry there. Great, Scott, on AMST. Nice one. So let's get this back, manage this Tesla trade. Right, so ideally, so the NQ has just put in a big red bar, which generally doesn't mean too much on the NQ, but that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, as if this green bar can close above that red one now within those 5 bars, then it would be great to see it crack this top of this sell side liquidity, because it's used it now, right? It's gone, tapped into it once, then pushed all the way in, all the way up now. So for me, even though it can still work to the downside, there isn't much left in there. I'd kind of move it out of its way. But again, just like any top, whether it's the high of day or whether it's just a new high of a swing, there's always a little one that it's got to contend with. So, to close above 68, it's got to close above 45. But let's see what it does. Okay, thanks so much for the table. Great, Scott. Well done. I'll try and have a look in a minute at something that we was looking at there, like yesterday or Monday, and see what what a backside trade would look like. What I'm hoping to hear is BON on the tape. That would be nice, because if that goes off, it could be a very nice play, right? So, okay, so it's broken that one. So that's a nice momentum play at the moment. So if we can close above 163.50, that would be good. If we can't, and we're going to use this and start to move back down again and turn red, then I'm not so interested in this Tesla long play. So there's a wick. Let's see if it's going to use it. I'm going to reduce if it does. So now I close below these now. I wouldn't be too interested. That was the momentum play. It was supposed to continue. You know, I don't mean it had to. It was just literally a momentum play. And if we look over quickly at the Nasdaq, we can see that is taking a tumble. So we're not aligned at the moment. Before, when we was looking at this, Nasdaq was pushing up, Tesla was pushing up. That's not happening anymore. So we close above those. Below those, I would just reduce this size. Okay, most of it off on Tesla then, because I'd much rather buy this down here now at 160, or if it wants to continue lower, then I'll take it all off. Okay. Okay, so let's see where we get to. It's we'll put an alert on, see if we get down there. Otherwise, what have we got on the VWAP? So the VWAP's tapping in here 1650, so we could see that as well. Let's wait and see what we've got. If we can get back up here. Okay, so that is Tesla. What else we got? BA doing anything off of Boeing? So Boeing pushed up to, that's that best execution on Boeing up there. Needed to push through sell side liquidity for it. Now tanking off buy side, off of buy side. It was acknowledged there only in the pre-market switch on. So now fading below it. So that is now negated. As is this one. And so we're definitely in a momentum play here on Boeing now. So there's the nice players too that we've had on this one. One here, so straight into those moving averages, and within that next bar, that's how it should work out on a momentum play, straight down, followed by a little bit more pulls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we get the next one down there, close below, and that's still in play. Would I consider that a flush in AMST? I'll check it out. What's the other one you're looking at? Wiser might make a good short and a triple top. Let's have a look. What you guys got for me on terms of you choose we trade then? Anything you guys got for me? Anything you like that much that you're going to take yourself? Sorry, AMST. Would I consider that a flush? Yeah. So yeah, so that's why this is textbook now. So this is exactly what I want to see where I've shorted. So I've been in, I was in here somewhere at 4. I don't know what the average price is now. It's 3. So I was in on the first initial push. It pushed up, so I was in negative. Then as it held this position, this sell liquidity pool, I added double top into there, and then the flush. So yeah, the flush is kind of a 50 cents bar, normally 30-cent bar that just rejects off of those kind of highs. And then for me, for it to work out, I'd love to see it just get down here to 331, because it's breaking each swing that had buy side pulls is busting them through and is now below VWAP. However, remember, you've got those traders that play this right here. If we see red turn to green here, it's probably going to come back again. But yeah, ultimately, I'd love to see it come right down to 337. Then I'd take it straight off. Yeah, so this is what you normally see me draw on. Is I don't want to see that color change there. I normally do it ahead of time, but I don't want to see a color change there because that will bring buyers in. Wise, you got something on Riot? Sorry, Trader Life, you mentioned Riot. I missed it. Okay, let's have a look at Riot before Wiser. What you got? Looking and waiting on the 1 hour candle to turn red. Long story short on Riot. Okay. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. Yeah, so look, wick on the 1 hour. Riot was on the scanner this morning as well, actually, in pre-market. Although it's on there nearly every day, to be fair, it is on there quite a bit. Okay. Trying to see what I've got on Riot. So that was a clean bust of yesterday's high. There was it working. Let's have a look. So yeah, worked into that middle area of that buy side liquidity and pushed out of it. So that's where you see that momentum come in out of one of these areas. And that's been a momentum play since. Look at that. How many days has this been running for now? I'm trying to see if I've got anything to work from at those lows. Just want to see if I want to add that position back on Tesla. Did that hang in there? Okay, probably missed that ad. So to see how the VWAP protected that, but that is going to see momentum coming into the upside now on Tesla. So double top right here. There you go. That's what comes in when you break one of these levels. It's literally. Okay. It's a shame I missed the ad on that and cover and took a percentage of it off down just before that VWAP. But like I said, that's what I play. If I see a sell side liquidity pool and it starts to run, I expect it to go to the other side. So not today, so not to worry. But let's see if there's anything momentum to get in, because I would be targeting up this 66 to 68. So let's see if we get an example of a momentum entry come up on this that we could use. Just back to managing AMST a second. Okay, so AMST is off. Okay. So yeah, for me, that can continue to run, but I don't expect these to fade all day necessarily. It has got a fair bit of way to come back from where it's come from. But yeah, at this stage, I don't know that it's not going to try and work its way out of that pool. So let's see how it works out. But for me, broke the most recent two. That's the one from the last swing in pre-market. There is ultimately one. It's resting one, which could get there in one hit, or it could get there. Oh, it's only a little bit lower, to be honest. I'm not okay. That's from the whole move. So that would be the ultimate kind of rest. If that's the high of day, that could be the point where it finishes today. Okay. All right, sorry. Does it have to break down through VWAP to be a flush? No. It's a flush from the highs. It's good to wait for VWAP if you're day one and trying to short. If you come back to this, if you forget anything on the, can I just take my drawings off for a second because it's starting to look a bit hideous. All right. So when we're running front side, like I said, you generally keep very close to these momentum moving averages. The 5 and the 8 can hold it. Obviously, we've got a pullback on the open, and then we hold them again. So really, the minimum you would be looking for, if not a day one, is a close underneath those. Okay, because that just means the momentum is off at the moment. So that risk is just off at that point because the momentum is not holding. If you look back at kind of what Riot was doing, clearly holding. Let's go have a look at Riot. Just put the footprint back on, haven't I? Yeah, see right there, clearly holding momentum all the time. What is this? It doesn't mean it's not going to go up any further necessarily. It just means that momentum is taking a pause, right? So it could push up again a little bit higher and then foul, whatever it wants to do. But it just means technically that momentum has paused. More than 5 bars, it's below, it's above, it's kind of finished in terms of a momentum entry. So AMST here, yeah, this could have held all the way. Great Scott, he just could have kept, coming back to VWAP and going up, coming back to VWAP, going up. The fact that it does close below VWAP is a thing, right? VWAP is a thing that is used as a kind of benchmark price, as a best execution price as well. So that is why it's a very decent. You can see it used it in pre-market and again here, and then now you've failed. So that's the difference though, is you've got to kind of stay, you need the confirmation, but you've still got the risk. So for me, I always like to, whether I'm longing or shorting, I like to wait for those pullback. Is it hitting? Yeah, it's hitting up. I can see the, even though I didn't add, I'm still in the profit there. I'll have a look in a sec. So yeah, I like to wait for those pullbacks no matter what, but I always bring it down to the next swing, right? You see me bring it down to that next pause or the buy side liquidity pool that it came from and draw the next one in, because I'd much rather, because there's a higher probability it can come back there. Now, if you're short on just on the break of the VWAP, all right, so if you close down here at 357 and you short, well, automatically I'm thinking, well, we're almost down at a double bottom from pre-market. That's a level in itself at 315. Plus, I've got this buy side liquidity pool sitting here at 333. So, yeah, we did break, but by the time we've closed under 357, you've only got 10 cents in it. So that's not enough. So I wait to see if we get the pullback. Now we've got a VWAP above us and we've got a sell side liquidity pool. That would mean we're not going to get a momentum trade to join this, which we haven't already. We're over 5 bars on the 1 minute. So we can pull back to this pool right here and then look to get short. So at the minute, our benchmarks have kind of done the job. Doesn't really, I don't know how far I drew them over. Any case, the benchmarks have done their job. They have alerted us to some calculated resistance at that level that this trade could be over, and or not the trade, the price action, the move up, that trend, it could be over. So we've now pulled back, and if we zoom out and look at where we are overall picture, all we've done, if we look where we are, take that VWAP off as well for the minute. We started off at 203. We went up to kind of 4. We're still above the 50%. So if we look from where we come from to where we are, there's that 50% there at 310. All the while we're above that 50% on day one, the stock can still take another run up to the highs, double top, new highs, whatever it is. all we can do now is, for me, to say what defines if it will still go any lower is this sell side has to hold. That's it. It has to hit, turn round, and we know the VWAP's there as well at the minute. Yeah, so these are off, finished. This is live. This one's finished at the top there. Nothing left there now. You've got this one from this swing A at 392 down to the lows. And you've got the one from the whole move of the last pull as well. So you've got resistance again at that benchmark at 4. Nolly, you had 2 losses today, 1 break even, not so good. Time to leave the desk and do your job. Thanks for coming along, mate. Yeah, appreciate you being here and punching your tickers in every morning. Thank you very much. Let's have a look. So yeah, it's just a bit of patience. Is whenever you think it looks like it's a good sell because it's shown you it's a good sell, chances are at that point it's going to come back and grab some, for me, grab some liquidity somewhere. Doesn't mean it has to, but there can be an attempt to. So that's why I just didn't want to sit. I don't care if it goes down to 299 now. I wanted that's what I do is take it off at that level, because if this comes all the way back up, I just don't want to see it, to be honest. Not in a small cap. I don't have the patience to wait in for that, because I don't want to trade them past 10:30 anyway, really. Boff. Okay, so Boff, smack into it, sell side liquidity pool. What have we got above? We do have benchmarks. This is back. Is this second play or first? Okay, it's first day play. So benchmarks are above. The sell side liquidity from pre-market is holding at the minute. Buy side liquidity of the move A to B there is down here at 150. But right now, it doesn't mean this is a short, right? Just because a sell side liquidity holds is not, it's different to coming into a benchmark, then moving away from it, then the sell side holds. That's my textbook. This is just an area to say, well, okay, price could hold and reject off this because we was close to a benchmark there, right? You could argue, it is a bit textbooks, but it's over a longer period of time. But for me, if we close above 230, there's much more work to do potentially for this stock. But we'll see. And if all else fails, you just get your, if you don't like the moving averages, you can just draw your trend line in. If your trend line fails, there's another confirmation there as well. Am I letting Tesla come back on me here? 1 second. Yeah, okay. So it got to the originally planned best execution level. It's how much is there. It's how much is there. So let's see if we can get this momentum change here. These are quite big bars for a momentum play. But yeah, this is not one I've managed well because I didn't get the ad as we come down here. I covered, I closed some. I took some off when this sell side liquidity looked like it was going to work out. So I've only got a quarter of the position on. And I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that I didn't chase the break of the sell side liquidity up to target there. But this could be the next play. Let's see if we can get the momentum play back on here. Getting so NQ's having a drop as well. Another drop on the NQ. So NQ's not really made a decision, is it? This is a 3-minute chart on the NQ. It's not really made a direction today. It's kind of pushed above again. If you look at that area there where we just kicked off just before the open, the last swing before the opening pre-market, it's just gone for that best execution level. So it could do that to the downside as well. Where is it to the downside? 17,650 on the contract there. Thoughts on True? You're thinking of shorting options on True. TRO, I see that come up earlier. What's that? Thoughts on True. Where's this done anything previous to now? First day play? First day play. There's not a lot down here, is there? Not a lot down here. Do you know what the catalyst is on that one? DJ? Is that? Or is it just what you've seen on the pop up on the scanners today? So benchmark 1, it's acknowledged here. 2 is up at 205. Benchmark. I don't think Tesla's given us that momentum, is it? Oops. All right, let's see if I can find something on it. TROO. Bob. Oh, there it is. Let's have a look. Whoa. You need to do that. No, I've lost my news. Anyway, let's get this down to a shorter time frame for you a second. This will be on, that's the bogey level in there, the middle, roughly between those two, just to watch out for. I can take a pause. So yeah, into the benchmark. This is what I'm talking about. See that there? That's what I'm talking about. That quick instant that you put a high in. So you can do that each time, right? So if all this look close to the benchmark or close to a support and resistance level, you can take the kind of high to the low that it's come into. And it was just green through the sell side. So nothing to do. Similar here. Popped into that high, put in a low, green through the liquidity pool. Sorry. This high, kind of a flush, right? Flush being you've taken out a number of the bullish bars on the way up is a flush. Coming back to your point, Great Scott. And here, this time you didn't just green right through the sell side liquidity. Therefore, this doesn't matter whether you are, if you're someone that looks left to find your support and resistance levels, that's fine. If that was one of those, if 165 is one of those levels, then that's fine. But if I get into that, the first thing I want to see is an attempt to push higher and fail and turn green to red. And then you can get in. And then if you get nice momentum like that, that's really good. And I'd do it again as well, right? So we've missed this one. So bring it down again. Okay, so the next area I'm going to look is around 155, sorry. If it comes back, it might not come back, but where am I looking to see if it can hold is, so look here, pre-market low. Okay, so that would ultimately be my nice to have target down here. All right. So that would be my nice to have target. If you just get, if you get that, and then you get a momentum play all the way down here to this, when it's playing out like that, you can play the color change as well, right? You can play the red to green momentums, just add a few more, just to get advantage of, a 25-cent move. That's effectively. But yeah, that's how I would go there. Just watch out where the VWAP is on this one. Oh, well below it. Don't worry about that. Well below it. Billy up. Yeah, that was one that couldn't it just couldn't do it yesterday. It couldn't come down yesterday, could it? Let's have a look. Oh, geez, that's well up. Yeah, we was thinking whether it was shortable right here. It was, but let's have a look. It didn't even get to its resting pool, did it? No, it didn't even get down there. So, did it hold its next one? Nope. Yeah, so that's the thing. When it doesn't come down to those buy side pulls, it's an indication it doesn't actually need it, and it just punches on up. So, yeah, I wouldn't be looking for shorts on this. Let's have a look. Wow. Oh my goodness. Tesla. Yeah, so benchmark. So that's why we're seeing this up here. Where we got 1650 to 1725. Sorry, 1675. So we've been to the benchmark. Let's have a look. Where's the liquidity pool? So we're right at it now, right? So we're working that sell side liquidity. Remember, there's 3 levels in here, kind of top, middle, and bottom. We've worked through kind of 2 of them. We've got this last one left up here, right? That's how it kind of works. But I just zone them all up. I'm gonna have to close that Tesla trade. I've not managed that well at all, have I? It's even got to the tapped into that first level. Yeah. Okay. Right. So now what would I be looking for on Tesla then? 2 kind of levels. There's a push here and the whole push. So this time of day it starts getting a bit micro instead of macro. So this pull would have moved up because we kind of pushed double higher. So it gets higher and it gets a little bit deeper. But then also we have the last push down to see if Tesla needs that at all. So at the moment, it's kind of a regular day after an evening release. It doesn't give you that run that it had in the post market necessarily, but let's see if we can hold this 164 and get any higher. So if we didn't come back down for this one from the whole move, we didn't come back down for the first one that we had in, so that could indicate it's got more buy side pressure. So let's just give it a chance. Otherwise, I'm literally break even on this trade from where I started on the open right now. Could have managed that much better. Where's AMST? So see AMST working out of that level now. So is it going to pop? And I'd much rather see a pop. When I mean it, it's like a little flush, but up. It just literally very, very quickly pops to it and then rejects. So if you had a limit order in here kind of thing, if it was going to work, yeah, it's going to hold and not go for new highs. But yeah, if you just had a limit order in there, that's the best way to catch them. But you have to kind of be careful, because if you close above 383 and the money flow comes in, then you're gonna be out of 50 cents before you know it. He's very busy doing CEO stuff. I imagine. Yeah, we've been putting the new hub live and just a few teething problems being sorted out still. So yeah, 90% of the way through that workload, as I understand from Gil. But yeah, haven't seen Michael for a while now, a couple of weeks, I think, isn't it, on stream? He's been in the Discord. Okay, so that was so I was trying to find something. Has there anyone got anything on the cars they want to trade? Is there anything that they're actually thinking, oh, this is really good? Trader Life, you was talking about Riot as well, wasn't you? Anything? You was looking for the hourly, was you? So there is see if it looks any better on there. Yeah, look at that. That's a momentum play. If you can, you don't know it in the first instance, right? So here you don't actually know it. But then when you kind of get this push and hold, if you look at them, it always comes. That's why I put the step on it, because if it does come back, it's only that the next candle just comes back almost 50% of the previous candle. Look, another one there, 50% of the previous candle. Just steps on these moving averages here. So it's really nice when you if you can identify that quick enough. Like it's on a 15-minute chart. It's not about doing it quickly. It's just about identifying it when it happens. So back to Billy. I moved off Billy because Tessa was. So Billy, yeah, continuing to push up here. Let's have a look. That's on the 15-minute. So Billy's doing it now, right? Ignore the colors. Excuse me. It's because I've got a double layer of benchmark and pull here. So yeah, if we close now above this 13 level, I'd expect extra momentum to push deeper into this kind of benchmark here. But you are getting, if we just take this off a second. Right, so round about recognizing one of these for me is look at those moving averages, the 20, the 55, the 80s is coming up. You're getting color play off of this. So didn't know it here. Here's the first color change that played on the momentum. 2 bars, you're in. 3 bars and you're in. 1, 2, you're in. 1, you're in. So that's kind of the way I would play it. Now, unfortunately, that big push followed by this big pullback does make things a little bit difficult because you have to kind of look back to pre-market, ignoring the switch on to find out what happens. But a good one is looking for best execution all the time of the average kind of price. Sit in the middle of there, 12.50 would be up there, kind of what, 12.95. So if you break out of 12.95 above 13, then there's a good chance you can get up to this kind of what is that going to be? 350, 340. So let's see if you get a color change again on Billy. So again, so we're in the middle of these stair steppers on this one. This is a bigger bar to close above. That's the only problem. When they're nice and little like this, you get a really nice risk to reward because you only have to put your stop below here. If that's the way, if you're literally kind of a momentum trader, you're not risking lower day or anything necessarily. You're just trying to catch that next push up. LSS on Riot. Sorry, 10.28. So you've just taken that at 12.40. You got Riley for me, have you, Tiny? So you brought that down to the 30 minutes to go red. So there, you literally done it as it turned red. Nice. Okay, so what if I was doing that? I didn't get what I would have been waiting for there, right? So for me, my target would have been kind of 11.90. If I took it over there, we'd already tapped into it at 12. And the good thing about it is it was breaking for me. So that's the momentum. It held 1 bar. Then you get your momentum play, crash straight through. But what I didn't really get up here for me was a chance to pull back. I guess you could argue. No, they're new highs, but you could argue that it held there. But I think I'm pushing it a bit there. I much would have rather to get that to hold and sell the 1250. But yeah, it's Trader Life. Did you have a level up here, or was you just literally waiting for that first half hour to go green? Didn't matter where it was. Oh, you got in at 1185. All right. If it gets back to there, I'll join you. All right. Sorry, you shorted 1185 right now on the 30 minutes. So you're looking for another 30-minute bar to play out, right? All right. Okay. Let's see if we can go. Okay, so as I understand it, we have got a 30-minute bar here that Trader Life has punched in. It's just gone red there, so he's in at around 1180. So was that an in or an out? Just to confirm, Trader Life, was that an exit or an entry? Oh, I was gonna say. So where did you get in? The close, or you was as soon as it turned red? Okay, all right. Well, then I'm with you, right? Let's do it now. Okay, so yeah, different sort of play then, right? So you're not necessarily picking the level as such, or are you? Have you got? I don't know what we've been explaining on this, but we've doing so. These were, well, obviously on a pre. So these were two. These are nothing to do with what's going on now. That was two targets on benchmarks. So you got some resistance to the left to cause that, right? I'm so curious about your time frame strategy. I'm so curious. I only know one other trader that literally trades in time frames, kind of. And I don't mean, oh, I trade the 30-minute bar only, or I trade the 1 hour bar only. I mean, as I understand it, you're expecting price to come into a time, and that's when you're expecting it to turn. Is that right? And then if it turns red at that time, you're good to get in. Tiny, just looking for you on Riley. It's at bogey level, just off there on bogey level. Target 1, target 2, just off benchmark there and pushing here. Let's bring that down a bit so I can get that benchmark 2 in. There's a bit of a mid cap as well. So, you know, my benchmark 2 plays are generally for like literally news days, high volatility, crypto, small caps. They're all like benchmark 2. Yen, if you like trading forex, likes benchmark 2. Cable likes benchmark number 1, as the big caps normally. The Mag 7s can sometimes have the volatility enough to do benchmark 2s intraday, but not normally. So all I'm looking at here, if I'm looking at Riley, is I'm following that trend up, that little push, seeing what we've got. So we didn't come into that buy side, albeit what have we got here? 24.05. Yeah, by about 50 cents. So we missed this one by about 50 cents down here. So then I'm checking the next one. Nice push up. Oh, is the NQ faking out on that low, or is it actually going to try and do something? Okay, again, so we miss on this push, but we take it to the absolute high. We just tack into it. Just tack into that first level. So now then is a chance to look out for the sell side pull between 33 and 34. And the buy side pull, you know, we're now holding micro buy side pull. There's one here just above 29. Most recent one just tagged in as well. Okay, so if there's anything else, if we zoom out on this, no, there isn't. So yeah, no, I was looking for some sort of kind of longer term. No, there's nothing ongoing that is kind of going to help you out trend wise. Is there? Channels have all just been broken out. So bring that back down. Are we at the back side of that? No, it doesn't work out on trading view, does it? Okay, so the backside of that channel that we've broken out of has just been touched into at that buy side liquidity pool. So let's see what we've got on it now. Buy side sitting right here. Okay, so that's kind of it for me. It held this buy side. It's tried to push up, didn't get straight to this sell side. It's gone for buy side again. Here's the color game. Here's that color change at the moving averages. 2 attempts at it, once, twice. They're looking for targeting that kind of new highs, or attempt to push to the highs, which they haven't quite got yet. Let's see if they get a third attempt at it, because if not, their stops are going to be either around $29 or under this low here at 28.28. That would see a further push then down as those stops get taken out, I imagine. But let's see if we can hold this buy side here, start to roll out on Riley. Where'd you get in short from? I can't do it, Trader Live. Yeah, I can't. I'm not very good at it at all. You can look at my Tesla trade now. Let's show you my Tesla trade to show you how bad I am at communicating and trading at the same time. It is not easy. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, this is no issue for me because of how poorly I managed the trade, right? Like I said, didn't add, then took 25, then I took 3/4 off because it looked like it was going to push down into this. Actually, it was lower down the time. It was down here around 160. Then it pushed into my actual target for the trade. I didn't cover it because I was not concentrating. I was on the stream, and then now it's kind of, it could break this one and come down to the next one now. So literally I am very glad now that I didn't concentrate on that. I took 3/4 off before and didn't concentrate on it. But well, let's see what the cues do. I'm just seeing what comes aligned here. Crazily like anyone. I wonder if I can show you my. I'll show you my charts that I've got here. So I have the. Let's see where we've got here. Yeah, I use the grid on Trade the Pool to give me an idea. So this is, I mean, it's a little bit crazy, isn't it? It's I don't know if everyone would do this, but it gives me an idea of what the Mag 7's kind of doing and the popular stocks are doing. I've got Disney, Costco here, and it's just giving me an idea of the last two bars, what is going on, right? So if I'm thinking of entering a trade that I know with a kind of little breadth of the major weighted stocks that are in the Nasdaq, what's going on? So at the minute, I expect the Nasdaq to be pretty much pushing down because of all the red that I'm seeing on that grid there. So then, and if I look over at the at the NQ here, then you can see we are, we're all pushing down because they are. So it's kind of gives me an idea that I am gonna break this buy side pool and go to the next one. Yeah, absolutely, trader life. I do. Who is this? Hello, I'm new. Like you have a delay of 3 seconds. Yeah. What, because I'm moving like that, or because you just have the YouTube delay of 3 seconds? It's on every stream, unless you, unless it's kind of Discord, which has ultra low latency on the stream. YouTube does generally have a delay of a few seconds, but welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Yeah, you're yeah, it's not too bad. So what have we got here? Just looking, just curious to see. I did want to show you what a day two short looks like, so I still want to go back and do that. We should have a look at recap what's on tonight as well. Let's have where are those? There we go. Let's see if I can grab this one off here. Oh, so the so AMST, see, didn't quite make it to that sell side. 20 moving average, changed color, and down it comes. That's my resting. 270 would be nice, but like I said, I was quite happy with what I took up there because you don't know if these stocks are going to run, squeeze for the day, or whatever. So if you get a nice gap move, 50 cents, no problems. Okay, so looking over here at investing.com, I like investing.com's calendar because it gives me the I can just quickly filter on morning or evening here, and also on the market cap to find out which the most important ones that might be playing. But if you're more into your niches or more into your sectors, then obviously you can filter through the list to find the stocks that you like to trade. But here I've got, what went out this morning. So all of these would have had earnings this morning. As you can see, whether they're reported green or red, all looks pretty good across the board. Isn't too bad, which, can give you an indication on what might happen with the overall market in the days to come. And then if we look at what we've got on this evening, And here we go, the big ones. Market cap of 1.2 trillion. It's just a small company, Meta. Meta, let's have a look at Meta, right? Because I've been waiting for Meta to break out. It's been accumulating up at a benchmark area for ages. It would be nice to see something here. What have we got? Date? Do I have to go daily? So this was a benchmark place. So this was the gap from here to here. So that's what I define as kind of, if we break out of this level, then we want to get to this level, and that's the area of the trade. That's where momentum comes in. And then we've been literally ever since we've hit that on the 5th of February, just accumulating in this little channel here. We have broken down it to the downside, but we're still in that zone. So I don't want, I wouldn't want to get involved in anything Meta, and I haven't even looked at it on stream much because of this reason. Today, we've just tapped into this buy side liquidity that's been sitting there from this high to this low. So from the 22nd, so it's this most recent liquidity pool on the bigger swing that we've had here to see what can hold. Now really, if we're looking at this from the other way around to see where it could go to, I'll be looking kind of down here off of that area here. Oh, so I've already, that's what I've drawn in there. So around 410. We did try and break out below there, but we've pulled back to the sell side. Now that's what I say sometimes can be to the downside, the best entry you get in. I don't really want to play in this accumulation zone, because if I'd have done that every time, okay, actually this play wasn't too bad. It did work, but then it faked out. And certainly if I'd have done it here to here, it busted out, and it's just not a good place to be in. So I generally say wait for the breakout and then trade the gap, and you're in with a better chance of a trade. But this rejection from this sell side liquidity, given that it's got earnings at this time, might give us an indication of what way it's going to go. If you can get an indication, who knows? But what I do know is if we close above that sell side liquidity pool, it's got more upside. And if it keeps below and breaks out of 470, breaks below and closes below, say 472, then we've got a nice gap, a nice little gap. And hopefully it will be more as well. It will continue to run. Not that I want it to go down, but, it's just from a trade perspective, it's been doing nothing for the best part of a month or so. So that's Meta. What else we got going on? So IBM's coming out tonight. ServiceNow, Tech Stock, Lamb, Waste Management, Chipotle is out tonight. Huge stock. O'Reilly Automotive, Val, United Rentals. So they're all there for a place. You can have a look at those. Obviously, you won't be able to trade them at the time of the release, but looking for volatility out the next day that would give you an idea there of how to play it. Right, I've got to have a look at what I've got on here. Do we put on? We jumped on Riot on that half hour. I don't know if we're going to see that play out. Okay, so not at the moment. There's the half-hour bar. We'll see what that's got on it. So we'll see what's going on there. And Tesla, I should be just closing this because I am effectively on the hope side here. I'm just thinking that one's negated. So it's this one here. Let's look at zoom out a little bit. Does it seem crazy to hold along? No, it doesn't seem crazy to hold along. So I will hold it. But when you trade the first you've got to trade the first hour of the market, right, on stocks. So unless you're waiting for a longer term swing position, then you're you've got to watch out for that best execution. And in the most part, just draw a box around pre-market on it and look for it to fake up about half of the box or the whole boy. Just look for it. Just look for that entry, because if you start to get long on the breakout of this range, so you're getting long pre-market highs, that's not normally good. That's not normally a good strategy to go long pre-market highs. I know it's well kind of spoken of, but definitely not in small caps. Not a good idea. You've always got shorts sitting above the pre-market highs to throw some anxiety at you at least. But yeah, generally, if the investment bankers are getting in with best execution, they will be above the market, above the pre-market. They will be below the pre-market if they've got buyers. So it depends on that range. You've got a really wide range. You can play it. If you open in the middle, you can play trying to get to that kind of area. But yeah, I think that's always an issue when people get into a trade, get stopped, and think that's because someone's actually after their stop. It was just a bad entry. Do I think Wright's got more to the downside? So this is the trouble. Intraday, it's difficult when you're taking a half-hour trade to say that, because you have got a half-hour confirmation short at a decent level. But intraday, the way I would play this, right? So if I'm taking this area here on pre-market, first swing out of the gates, have I got a benchmark up there or near right? So there was the benchmark on right up the top. So good place to short at the top. Target would have been down the bottom. So big caps are not my forte. So if we're having, I just treat them like anything else. They've got a benchmark to go to. It's an intraday benchmark based off of pre-market. If it hits it, then you're going to do the same thing to the other side. Take the swing up, come to the middle or to the closes there, and just see what we've got to the downside of that swing. And we was kind of in a benchmark and buy side liquidity down there. Now, that's two trades. That's two trades. One up, one down intraday. And therefore, like today, coming into this time, I wouldn't be playing it anymore. If I was to do the same again, which at this time of day, when you've played out two benchmarks, not necessarily, but you've probably got a similar thing going up saying it wants to come and test the highs. Saying that, if you zoom out on the time frame, which you're kind of doing, is what are those 30-minute candles doing at the moment? They're pushing back just under the momentum that it's got at the minute. Even on the hourly. Right, so if I look on the hourly then, taking these lows and these highs, yeah, so I still think it's a good level to short. It did spike above it. If it's a really huge momentum play, it's got 15 on it, right? If it's a really huge momentum play, it's got 15 on it, because benchmark 2 is sitting. Let's grab this low. Yeah, 14 and a half, 14 and a half. But just because it's up there doesn't mean it's going for it. Doesn't mean it cannot pull back into this benchmark range. Okay, loads of times we see this on, even today, right? It just goes above it on AMST. Right, just goes above it. Well, we knew what it looked like. Yeah, so it looks like it's going. And that's what you're looking at right now, effectively, apart from it's benchmark 2, not benchmark 1. So I think it looks like you're going to take some heat, but it doesn't mean the trade overall is out. It's just a case of like a little bit late on the half-hour front. But that's what when you're playing a half-hour bar, you have to size for that, really, don't you? You have to size for it to come back 50% of that bar at least, really. Tesla, you're thinking overbought for the day, moving towards the downside at 160.80. Yeah, I'm going to give it this. I'm going to see if it's got more upside on this. Yeah, if it closes below 159, I'm going to cover it. It's just a quarter size. But if I see it work out at this level, the Nasdaq's not helping at the moment, and Nasdaq as is going lower here. So we'll see what it's got. It's I'd like to see it work out of this level, at least this range. And if I do see that, then I'd add to get it higher. So thanks, Trade Live. Actually, should we do a recap? What time? We've got 56. Let's do a recap, see what we had on. Although I've talked to you about them most of the show. Let's have a look, see what we got. Okay, Riot, you choose, we trade. I'm in there with you, Trader Life. We're short. I got a little bit of an entry, I guess, if you was in 80s, was you? But yeah, we're wearing that, aren't we? It's a half-hour play. So like I said, we've got VWAP here, a little bit of protection. We'll see what we've got. Yeah, as soon as we're up above 1240, we're almost going to be going into that sell side liquidity that is sitting up there. So we'll take a look at that. And then Tesla. Oh, no, I did. What it was a small cap I shorted today, didn't I? And so Tesla. Oh, that's a bit hard to judge there. Let's move this out to the 2 minute, then we can see. So Tesla, yeah. So in on what was a very red bar, anticipating that to get to that best execution. However, it came back, and like we said, entered into that sell side liquidity pool that was here. This is where I took 3/4 of position off because it looked like it was coming back down for it. Then it didn't. Then it hit target and I was chatting, so I didn't close the position. And now it's pulled back. So this is now like literally a quarter of the position on here. I have buy side liquidity pulled down here. It is in momentum to the downside at the moment. So I'm just going to see if we can't get it. And then I'll add that what I took off back on to see if we can get it higher. So we'll see if we can manage that one. And the other one, I'm sure I got into AMST, did I not? AMST. Yeah. Okay. So AMST here. AMST. Let's get this out of the way. Bring this guy. You see this? AMST. So the first kind of rejection at that level I shorted in, it was here. I shorted in as that rejected, right? So I saw the red candle and I rejected. It then pushed higher into this benchmark 2 up here. As that confirmed on the sell side liquidity pool that is sitting here, I added again because that was my textbook, and then covered at the first buy side liquidity pool. And then had I had bigger size on that, I could have just taken some off and used this sell side liquidity as protection for that. We didn't get up there on that little limit order we was trying to play with. But now we've definitely got down to that 3 level. which is the first area of 3 in this zone. So that is my trades today. So we'll see Riot. We'll give Riot a little bit of breathing room, trader life. I'm not sure. I'm just going to cover it for the sake of covering it. But it does look like it wants it, doesn't it? So if we've got protection, given it is a powerful upside, if we've got protection on this, and depending on your size as whether you would cut it or not already, I don't know. It's I guess if this holds up here at 1240, 1250, could be an ad if we're in there from 11. But yeah, it was just sometimes when you wait for those half-hour bars, you've got to play that rejection, right? Because it's just this, it's almost exactly the same thing as what I'm playing on the 2-minute bar, right? You hit your level, you come off, you hit sell side liquidity. That's the textbook entry. Do we come down? And it depends on that level, how strong that level is that we're playing. But we'll see how we go. Bogey level about 13, 20, something like that. In the middle there. Let's see. It's a bit of a naughty one, that one, but we'll see. Future Day Trade, been a great show. Mr. Scott, thank you very much. You're welcome, as always. In a few more years, thousands of people will be live watching the show. Yes, I think they will. Now, I've left this till the last minute because I didn't want to put a downer on the show. All right, we're about to wrap up now, but Deanna is no longer going to be a co-host of the show. I think she made, a correct decision for her. She's a futures trader. She has her own channel. She felt like she was losing that momentum on her own channel by trading stocks because she was trading some stocks as well. That wasn't kind of coming over. So she's decided to go back and do her own thing on her channel over there. And I will be looking for not me personally, Michael and co will be looking for a new co-host. So we'll see. It might be a new couple of co-hosts. Who knows what's going on? But hopefully I'll still be here next week on Monday to trade with you guys. And I don't know if I help you out, but at least I hope I'm helping you out. She will be missed. Yeah, it's definitely. I enjoyed the little open to the show, doing that mindset few minutes there. Oh, it actually chilled me out quite a bit before I started the show. So I'll miss that. But you know where she is if you like the mindset, psychology stuff over at Psychology Trader. And if you're still into your stocks, then you can stay here with me. We can do a bit of both. So thanks, Trader Life. I need you guys sometimes, not the other way around, hey. But we'll see who we've got in there. There might have been might be an indication of what's to come. There was a nice few new members in the chat today. So let's try and build it up. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, not just on YouTube, but on socials as well. Try and help us out as much as you can so we can keep the show going. But for today and for this week, I will close it off. You can catch me over at liquidvision.trade on the website or Liquidvision Trades on YouTube for some more. I'll still be out there streaming Thursday and Friday. I do a little bit of everything over on that channel. So you're happy to join me there if you're at loose end, or head over to the Discord where Tim will be over there and the guys just doing their usual stuff. He has a live trading session in Discord on Friday as well, where Tim runs that. But for now, from me, it's good night. I'll see you next week.